The Bengals and Bills game will not be resumed. It's been officially canceled. There will be no replay of the game. A lot of fantasy football implications to this, so we're going to talk about it briefly, go over your dilemmas. This is why earlier I said the best course of action was to split the pot before somebody was faced with this type of situation, because I did not feel that the NFL would replay this game. I did not feel that this game would be picked back up. I did not feel that they would move the playoffs and try and maneuver things around to get this game replayed in a Week 19 setting. It very much felt like it was going to be a game that was just canceled altogether. So for those of you, this is tough. This is tough, and there's a lot of fantasy implications. A lot of you put your heart and soul into a league and a team that had players that were playing in this game, and you may have not, surpassed a certain point total that you would have certainly surpassed. So we're going to break all this down and more. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. The OJ, non-interesting name, Travis Rowe, first in the buildings, Tater Toddy. Appreciate you all being here. Let's get to it.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Smitty. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show, and I'm here to break down this situation, which has some very, very big fantasy football impact to it. The Bengals and Bills game will not be resumed. We knew this was a possibility. This is why my biggest suggestion over the last couple days has been that fantasy football leagues just split the pot between two people that are facing off against each other, because now you have a dilemma where a commissioner's having to come up with some creative way that he or she may not want to come up with to try and please the one person that was down and had these players that are still, the game was left undone, and there's Bill players and Bengal players that were supposed to score X amount of points for you, and you're down by 5, you're down by 10, you're down by 30, you're down by 25. And now the game's officially canceled, which means that if you were down by 5, even if you had 5 Bill players playing, you are now getting no more points according to the NFL, and probably according to most every single fantasy football application and platform out there. I imagine that platforms will give the league, every commissioner's got discretion to do whatever they want, but I imagine they're going to have some sort of tool or some kind of allowance of Week 18 to play a part in Week 17. But then again, it's such a definitive answer by the NFL that it's very possible that a lot of these league management softwares and platforms say, you know what, do what you want, but our system is going to count this as it's done. It's as if Joe Burrow got pulled from the game. It's as if Jamar Chase got pulled from the game. It's as if Diggs or Allen were removed in the second quarter because they were up so big they were resting their players. That's the way it's going to look in terms of fantasy football outcomes, which is horrible for everybody that literally would have won if their players had played. Guaranteed. You're down by 5 points and you had Josh Allen. You're down by 10 points. You had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So it's a shame. It's a shame that it's come down to this, but let's go ahead and I'll put it up on screen. Someone's saying, where did I get this? It's all over the place. It's all over Twitter. Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter are reporting it. I'll put it on screen for you though. But here's some of the thinking behind it, and I'll put it on screen and read it. This is from the NFL right here. So this part right here is pretty important. These 3 bullet points right here. Not playing the Buffalo-Cincinnati game to its conclusion will have no effect on which clubs qualify for the postseason. Qualify. No club would qualify for the postseason, and no club will be eliminated based on the outcome of the game. Bullet point number 2. If it would require postponing the start of the playoffs for 1 week if they were trying to resume this game, thereby affecting 4 clubs that qualify for the postseason. In bullet point number 3, which is probably the most important bullet point of all, and it makes the most sense from the NFL's perspective, let's just keep that in mind. Making the decision prior to Week 18 is consistent with our competitive principles and enables all clubs to know the playoff possibilities prior to playing the final week of the regular season games. Meaning that it makes sense from the NFL perspective or from the other team's perspective to say, hey, let's go into week 18 knowing the outcomes. Because then you know what players to play. You're not going to necessarily run a player out there that's going to get hurt when you didn't even need to run the player out there. It's only fair to the other NFL teams to say, hey, you know what's at stake going into week 18. There's not some limbo situation in week 19. They wanted everyone to know up front this game would be replayed in week 19 or this game would not be replayed in week 19. The NFL is saying we want all teams to know the potential outcomes based on their game, which does make a lot of sense from a football perspective. Yeah, we do have good news on Damar as well. Damar is able to communicate, and they've got a tube still down his throat, so he can't talk, but he can write. There's a lot of reason to believe things are going in a real positive direction for Damar Hamlin. So prayers up and good for that. But this is horrible news for those that have, Burrow, Chase, Mixon, Josh Allen, Diggs, Gabe Davis, Knox, all these players, James Cook, Singletary, McKenzie. Anybody that was going to win their game now is probably going to lose their game based on this decision, which it's a painful thing because there's a lot of players involved. There's a lot of fantasy football players involved. This isn't like one team that has like one good player, another team has like two good fantasy players. This is a lot of firepower. This is a big chunk of fantasy football producers right here in Joe Burrow. These are two of the top 4 quarterbacks. These are two of the top 4 wide receivers in my mind in Jamar Chase and Diggs. These are two very, very, often started running backs in Mixon and James Cook right now. So we really have to determine, what like if anybody's got a dilemma, toss it out. Actually, I'll open the phone line up and you guys can call in if you've got a dilemma that we can talk about. We'll keep it quick though.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
A really, really unreal situation. And nobody should feel bad about themselves or be ridiculed for wanting to know answers to their fantasy football championship situation. Okay, so let's stop with that. I don't want to hear someone's a bad person because they want to know what to do. There are commissioners out there that have 11 people hounding them, and they need some like guidance on this issue. And I think wanting to have this situation figured out, you can do that and still feel the way that we feel about the entire situation. Okay, so I got a lot of you on hold here. You can hear the phone lines just blasting. Please mute yourself if you're not talking, so we don't hear any mouth breathing or background noise. We're going to start off with Matt. Matt, you were live on the Fantasy Football Show. Anybody else that's on hold and your name is not Matt, please mute your phone. Matt, you're up. You're live.
Hey, Smitty, I called you a couple days ago, and prayers still out for Damar and his family. Yeah, I'm kind of in a rough spot. I was down 3 points going into the championship, and I had Josh Allen, and my opponent had Burrow, and the projections basically was 50-50. I mean, I think he had him winning by maybe less than a half a point, possibly.
Yeah.
And it's a point per completion league, so it's a little. I think it's every 50 yards passing. But yeah, I talked to the guy about splitting it earlier, and he's like, "Oh, let's just wait it out." And
yeah, wait it out so that he can, because that's the thing is
I'm not sure.
That's what I told people is that there were a lot of people that were worried Williams calling in here and saying, what do I do? What do I do? And I'm like, are you up? And they're like, yeah, I'm up. Okay, so if you're up and you're projected to win, your best course of action is probably to be patient because all sides point to you having an advantage. The people that are down right now, even if it's 1 point, your best objective was to split the pot or figure out a way to split the pot because there was a very strong likelihood the NFL was going to not replay this game, and you're minus 1 point regardless if you had every single Bill player known to man going, and still to go. You were going to lose the game because you would still be down -1 if the NFL scrapped the game, which the NFL just did. So I could only do so much, but I came out here and I know you tried, but I came out here and tried to tell everybody the best solution is split the pot, because if you're down, you're probably going to lose. Doesn't matter how many guys you have left. If you're down, you're going to probably lose, because the NFL is going to most likely not replay the game. They didn't. They've scrapped the game. It's as good as done. And the only solution there is to try and convince a commissioner to take matters into his own hands, when the bottom line is the league management softwares are going to pretty much tell people that you're going to have to go above and beyond what the league management software and platforms are going to want you to do or enable you to do. And no one's going to do that. No one's going to just creatively, I think at this point, say, I'm going to go ahead and just step in, even though the league platforms, all these sleeper, ESPN, Yahoo, are going to say it's concluded, it's done. I'm going to go ahead and step in and say, I'm going to give you the week 18 points for Joe Burrow. I'm going to give you the week 18 points for Josh Allen. Unless both people agree to it, it's probably, your commissioner is not going to take that into, the commissioner wants to wash his hands of this. Commissioner's like, good, they made a decision for me. Thank God I'm getting out of here. So I don't think very many people are going to have solutions presented to them. If you were down and you didn't split the pot, you're probably going to lose. It's unfortunate. It sucks.
So it worked for me in another league, though, Smitty. So, I mean, I didn't get totally screwed. It actually helped me in another league. I was at 50, and the guy had T. Higgins, Chase, Burrow, and the kicker, McPherson.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, it worked for me in one league. It didn't work for me in another league.
Well, congrats on the one league. Congrats on the one league, Matt.
So, anyways, congratulations to all the winners, and sorry about if anybody lost. I know that feeling. It sucks. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm looking forward to 2023.
All right, appreciate you, man.
Thanks for everything.
Later.
Appreciate what you do.
Yeah, everybody stay on mute for me as you hold. I got 3 super chats I got to get to, and if anybody drops a bomb, you're going to get blocked and you never be allowed to call in again. So just letting you know that up front. And I'm not going to, because of the monetization of each video. It's one thing to have one video get demonetized, okay, there's some extra swearing, we're going to take Nike off your ability to have people, it basically limits or demonetizes that video. It's not a big deal in the grand scheme, but one video after another, it adds up. So your boy Smitty doesn't want any bombs being dropped in the phone line. If you do that, you're going to be banned for life and you're never going to be able to call in again. Just let you know up front. Vamp with a $20 holler, dropping a 20 wad. Michael K. CPA dropping a 20 wad. My phone call, people, please remain mute and on hold while we celebrate.
Mashed potatoes!
Okay. Appreciate you all. The money gun is out of commission at the moment, so your boy Smitty's got to manually make it rain. First, let's see here. First, super chat, $20 holler was from Michael K. CPA. Thanks, Smitty. I won my work and the Michael K. CPA League. No drama because I was so far ahead in the Bills-Bengals game. Appreciate you, Michael K. CPA. To the moon.
To the moon.
Thank you for your super chat and congratulations on dominating, in representing the show so well. Vamp with a $20 holler. Smitty, I've been taking a break from the channel because I'm bummed about losing in the chip. Just wanted to let you know that I'm stoked for 2023 content. I got to the chip, but because of you, and I'm gonna get back to there next year because of the channel and because of you, Vampy. I appreciate you. I'm sorry about the outcome of your league. It's such a bummer, to lose this way, and there's nothing wrong with feeling that way. Okay, this is a safe place for people to come and talk about this. I'm tired of people getting ridiculed because they're interested in supporting the situation at hand, for sure. Prayers up, and everybody should be throwing their prayers and good thoughts toward the Hamlin family and the Hamlin situation. 1,000 billion% is how I feel. Everybody should be thinking positively and shoving good thoughts and prayers toward that situation. But it does not mean we can't speak of this. And people saying fantasy's nothing, fantasy's worthless, fantasy's meaningless. There's people out there saying fantasy's stupid at this point. Doesn't even matter. It does matter. It matters to me. This is my job. You're basically telling me my job's worthless. And my job's not worthless. I love my job. And I provide an outlet for people that need, an outlet. And I love that about my job. And I'm not going to stop my job because I can do both. And I feel very strongly in a positive way toward the Hamlin situation. And I just want people to feel like they can come here and talk about this stuff and not feel ridiculed. Like there's a way to do both. There's a way to do both, and there's a way to do both respectfully, and we do that. We are very respectful of the situation, and we do nothing but throw positive vibes out into the atmosphere. Thanks for all the help this year, Smitty. Won my league and the chip even when I had 2 players in the canceled game. To the moon, number 1, because you're awesome, and congrats as well. So thank you for those super chats. And back to the phone calls. I've like 5, 6, 7 people, I don't even know how many, waiting very patiently. Let's start with Mike. Mike, you're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Everybody else, please remain muted. Mike, you're up.
Hey, Smitty. It's Money Mike.
Money Mike. What's up, Money Mike?
How are you? Hey, so as soon as I saw the announcement, I said I got to jump on and see what Smitty has to say now. So my scenario the other day, Team 1, up by 16 points with Diggs going. Team 2, obviously down by 16 with Mixon. The difference between the winner, runner-up, 1,500 to 800. Now that the game is officially canceled,
you win.
My position is going to be, the results are final. Team 1
Got him.
with Diggs wins.
You got it. I'm gonna hit the got him for you. You got him, bro.
Got him.
All right.
Congrats.
No questions, right?
No questions. Okay. Congrats on your money. Your money, Mike. You're doing your name a service. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Smitty.
Later.
Take care, bud.
We got any more got-ems? J-Mac, you're up. J-Mac, did you get him?
God, I think I got him, Smitty. I know I
Got him.
You know, and I just, if I may, I'm somebody who does important work in my normal day life.
You're saving lives, Thomas. You're probably saving lives, Thomas.
Well, the reason I say that is fantasy football is my escape, right? And in that other life, right, I've been through homelessness this season. I've been through divorce breakup this season, right? Like I'm going through heavy stuff, right? Really, really heavy stuff. And I found a healthy outlet, a really healthy outlet in this community and in this channel and with fantasy football, right? And it's frankly, because of this outlet, I've been a better father, I've been a better partner, I've been a better everything, right?
That's
because
awesome.
We had that outlet. So first off, I want to say that for anybody, like, we never talk about sometimes our perspective, that we handle, and this can be a healthy outlet,
Absolutely.
So I just want to let that be known.
Hey, J-Mac. You know who you got? You know who you got? You got life, baby. And you got the positivity and the attitude and the fight and all that. So adversity, you know what you got? You got adversity by the balls, bro. I'm gonna hit the got him button for you.
Got him.
Yeah. We only know how strong we are by what we can lift and what we go through. Otherwise, we wouldn't know.
I appreciate
now, on
you.
to the championship. All right, because I want to be respectful of everybody's time.
Yeah.
I finally dropped the link for the show in the chat. I just gave them little clips. I finally dropped the link now that the season's over.
Yeah,
all
thank
right?
you.
So, so they can join next year. I was up, going into this week, 109 to 108 to 80 or to 79. Basically a 30-point lead. He had the ball out, and I had Diggs. I had Diggs. He had Josh Allen. So there was a chance, but for him to put up that many points, would have been, Diggs would have had to get injured really early. And so, I went through all these Doctor Strange scenarios, and even if there would have been a different quarterback, you're not putting up those points. And I felt like it was too big of a lead for me to just, I didn't want to win this way. We talk about nobody wants to lose this way. I didn't want to win this way. But, there's no way that this 30-point lead turns into a loss in any in 99% of the time. So I'm okay with going ahead and calling it and say that, we won this. You can swap out your quarterback for anybody but Tom Brady anybody on the waiver wire. right? But this is over. And
Well,
I
congrats
think
on the
won.
win.
And I say that humbly.
Congrats on the win, my guy. Congrats on the win on all fronts, from the adversity in your life, to the championship. Appreciate you, man. You got him, bro. You got adversity.
Got him.
Yeah, man. And I appreciate the community, man. I really think this is something special here, Smitty, where it's more than just a show,
Yep.
right? Like, I've heard all other kind of people go through all kind of stuff, and y'all care about each other, and we have this healthy outlet, man. So the move, everybody in the Smitty hive, I'm going to keep saying that till it catches on. And, 2023, we coming.
All right.
I'm coming for the back-to-back.
Appreciate you, J-Mac.
Everybody in the league. I'm out. All right.
Call in anytime. All right, Thomas, you're live on the Fantasy Football Show. You're up. Thomas, hello? Hello? All right, we'll go to area code 678. You're up. You're live. We'll see if Thomas wakes up later. 678 area code. You're live. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I gotta end the phone line. Hold on. Let me close out of that. And I'll rejoin the call. I don't know. I think I gotta close the phone line down. Sorry, guys, if you were on hold, please dial back in, and I'll add you again. I don't know what happened. Your boy Smitty's got to restart the phone line. Okay. Dial in. Super chat here. I told my two finalists I think a split is fair. The guy ahead says no shot. Guy behind is all for the split. Was a 16-point difference between the guy with the guy behind having Higgins. Please share what your thoughts are. Like, my thoughts are this, bro. Unfortunately for the guy that's behind, I mean, I don't think you could just make up, hey, I should get the points from the week 18 scoring, or hey, I should get the projected points added in. Like, I'm in the same boat as the guy that's behind. I'm in the same boat. I have a league where I have Joe Burrow and I'm down, and I think I could have won. It was a high scoring 6-point per TD pass type of league. I had Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow, and I just don't think that I should be given points when Burrow didn't finish his game. I hate to say it. I know people are going to be upset about that stance, but look, that's why splitting the money was the best approach. I don't know that we're going to see that opportunity be there anymore. I don't think the owner that's now being told by the league management platforms everywhere, the game is concluded. The game's over. The game's over. It is what it is. And I don't think anybody's going to convince anybody to split the pot. Now the league management platforms everywhere could end up I don't know why my phone lines are down. Give me a second. I gotta try and reopen it. I don't know if the league management platforms are gonna give an option to people, to commissioners, to maybe do something different. They may open that door, and those conversations will then 678. Okay, I'm gonna look for you, bro. I'm gonna open up the phone line again and try and look for your number. I don't know. I think it's over. I think if you had those players and you were down, any of those players in that game, you're down, you're probably not going to get any cash money, unfortunately. It's just the way it is. But you never know. You never know. These situations are tough. So for this question right here, what do you do? I don't think you just... The guy that's up probably won. My phone line is acting up. Hold on, guys. Come on. Let me see if I can get into the phone line again. Bear with me, guys. I gotta re-log into this thing. Unreal. Come on. Come on, phone line. Take a lap. All right. All right. Signing in as we speak. So anyway, if anybody has a question or dilemma, I'll get to you in 1 second. I'm just trying to reactivate the phone line here. The phone line is a close for the moment. So I just need to... All right. All right, we should be back in business on the phone line here. All right. Dial into the show.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
So, who am I speaking to?
Thomas from Mantua.
Thomas, what's up, Thomas? Watch the language. Don't
All
get banned from the show. All right, go ahead.
No, I won't. I won't.
All right. Let's go. It's not that I care. It's the monetization value. Okay,
no,
go.
I understand the monetization. You told
Let's
me
go.
that earlier.
Let's go. What you got?
All right. I played in the Dynasty League. I was before the incident happened on Monday. I was up 170 to 81. He had Joe Burrow and T. Higgins, and then the hit happened, whatever. I mean, not disrespecting what happened. After that happened, I waited a couple of days and talked to my manager, and I'm like, look, if my opponent wants to use Higgins and Burrow for that this following week, I'm cool with that. I just want to make sure he's okay. I don't try about my opponent. And my manager said, you know what, you're the winner. You won fair and square, and he gave me the money. And I won the league, but I didn't want to win this way. But
yeah, well, congrats on the win.
I had too much big league. Thanks.
Congrats on the win, bro.
Everybody else is different, and I just want everybody to really be respectful to each other, and maybe remember that it's just a game, but at the same time, it is our hobby, and I love doing this. So
yeah, well,
I think I love Dynasty more than I love redraft league. So I just wanted to tell you that too.
Yeah. I appreciate you, man. Congrats on your win.
Thank you for your help all year.
Yeah, congrats on your win. Tony Garcia, you're live.
What's going on, Smitty?
What's up, man?
First off, I want to say, big prayers up to Hamlin and the family. That's awesome. He's pulling through.
Yep.
Second thing I want to address is, I'm in that same situation, commissioner of the league, and I happen to be in the championship with somebody, and I've got Jamar Chase. He had Hayden Hurst. He was up 14 points. I told him normally we have pre-draft meetings before the league starts, and of course this wasn't discussed. But as a commissioner, you got to act on the fly. So what I ended up telling him was, well, if you want, we can split the pot or just wait to see what happens. We split the pot, so $750 apiece. And I told him, look, we do have a belt, and me personally, I don't want to have a co-champion. So what I told him is we wait till the NFL playoffs. The Bengals are already in the playoffs. They're going to play their starters, and I'll just add the points manually. And whoever scores the most, it is what it is. They're the winners. But we'll split the pot. I mean, we've been in this league 12+ years, so everybody's cool with
this
that.
This is why splitting.
I still want to have a win.
Yeah, this is why splitting the pot was the only answer for people. Even if you were, I had people arguing with me last night and the night before, saying, "Smitty, but I should win. I'm down only 5 points and I got Burrow and Higgins, or I'm down only 25 points and I've got Mixon, Higgins, and Jamar Chase." And I'm like, bro, you're down. You're down, and there's a really good shot that the league doesn't continue this game. So you will. It doesn't matter if you're down 1 point and you've got the entire Bengal roster, you're down 1 point.
Exactly.
So splitting the pot was critical at the beginning stages of this. And every day that we got further, people were a little bit less sensitive to the situation. That's just human nature. People are this way people are. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll split it. Let's come together. And then, like, the next day, I heard a lot more stories about, I don't know if I want to split it. Let's wait it out. Let's be patient because they were up. If you're up, of course, being patient was to your advantage because if you were up and the league was likely to not play the game, you were going to end up being up and remaining up. I just don't know. I can't give anybody any advice at this point to go ahead and try and manipulate the rules so that you can win the money. Like, oh, let's just add in week 18. Let's add in projections. You got to almost, as crappy of a feeling as it is, and it is for me. I've got this exact situation. I go Joe Burrow, and I think I would have won. I Joe Burrow, and he already dropped a 8-something points in the specific scoring format. Touchdowns are 6 points per TD. He was going to have a 45-point game, in my opinion, in this game. He was firing off on all cylinders right from the jump. But in that league,
that's why I felt DeMar was going to do it because Burrow was going off. I mean, it was just going to happen.
But the thing that sucks about it is that I know that any solution I have at this point is me trying to just figure out a way to get something that really isn't mine to go get at this point. Like, that's kind of the way I feel about it. I get it. It sucks. If the game was replayed, 1,000% would I be on board with everybody's, I should get these points. 1,000%. I don't care if they replayed it in week 19. If anybody was going to come in here and say, oh, they replayed it in week 19, though it wasn't in the confines of week 17, that is a week 17 game. If they replayed it in week 19, that was a week 17 game, and you 100% deserve the points. So I would have been battling that battle for everybody. But at this point, when there's no game, there's no points being scored, the NFL said the game is canceled, there's nothing you can do. Maybe you get lucky and your commissioner's like, yeah, well, go ahead and use the projected points. I mean, take it if you can get it. Or, hey, whatever they do in week 18, you can apply that. Or run the whole thing back in week 18. I don't know about you, but if I'm on the other side of that, I don't like that because that is, it is an is what it is situation. Week 17, it's almost like they got pulled from the game early. Like, that's the way it is. If the game's canceled, that's the way it is, and it's unfortunate. And I don't like it. But it's you know, if I'm being honest with everybody, the game was called. The game was called. There is no week 17 Joe Burrow points to be coming down the way. There's no Diggs points to be coming downstream. It is what it is.
I couldn't go with the projections because, take for instance, I had Austin Eckler in the same league. It took one play for him to do a 70-yard run, and it changed everything.
I know.
This is what I'm saying. You can't go off projections. The first play of the game was the ball to Jamar Chase for a 40-plus yard. It could have been a touchdown if they didn't hold him.
Yeah.
I mean, and I already would have been up. You know, so being that we're all friends and we've played in this league for so long and money isn't worth losing friendship over, hey, fine, we'll split it. No big deal. Now, the fact that we have a fantasy championship belt, I look at it like,
you should fight for it. You should.
We can play for the belt.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't want. Me personally, I don't want to have two championships.
Yeah, I hear that. I do understand people. Some people in the chat are saying, well, if you were projected to win, you should still split the pot. And look, I'm all for that. If you can get both people, the commissioner. Here's the dilemma. The commissioner. It's really simple. The commissioner goes to the two people. It has nothing to do with the rest of the league. You could include them in a vote if you had an argument where the two people don't want to come together on an agreement. Then maybe the entire league comes back into the picture and votes. But at the onset of it, the commissioner needs to go to both parties and say, "What do you want to do?" And if they're like, "Hey, you know what? I was going to lose, honestly, and I'm winning. I don't want to win this way. Let's split the pot." Maybe the other person still wants to do that. If they don't and you're down, it doesn't matter if you had Burrow and Diggs and Chase and Mixon all on your team and you're down 1 point. The person that was ahead with this being now a canceled game, technically speaking, on all levels has won the game. It's just the way it's the way it is logically. You can't argue that you should still get something that isn't there. It's not there. The game was canceled. And had they said we would replay it, then you have an argument to take those points. They've canceled the game. There is no replay of it. There's nowhere to get the points.
It's unfortunate in a lot of different situations because, like, I'm also in a few Yahoo prize leagues, and I bought in for $500, and I went all the way to the championship, or I all the way to the semifinals. I lost, and now I'm playing for third. Well, this guy I'm going against has Josh Allen, Jamar Chase, and I'm 124 to 75 points. These are half-point PPRs. Yeah, there's a possibility he could have beat me, but because this happened, he didn't even have a chance. So I automatically get my $500 back. And I was just like, wow. I mean, I guess that's the way it is. But because we have private leagues, they allow us to change those points as we see fit. I mean, you're the commissioner.
Well, that's on every commissioner if they want to do that.
Yeah, it's on every. I mean,
all right, Tony, I got to move on. But anything else you want to add? I appreciate you, by the way, and congrats on your wins.
Thanks, no problem. Appreciate you.
Yeah, later, man. Ron Navy, you're up. What's up, pal?
Hey, Smitty.
What's up?
Hey, this really falls on. I mean, thank God that Lamar's up and his eyes are open and he's making progress, and even the doctors are talking like he's more likely to come back 100%. So that thank God for that. But this whole thing really falls on the NFL itself.
Yep, for sure.
They really don't. I mean, to be honest, they don't care about fantasy football. The NFL does not care about us in fantasy football. They don't care if somebody's set to win $2 million or they're going to lose $2 million like in best ball. They don't care. But here's what would be interesting, though. What would the NFL do if this happened right in the middle of the playoffs? What would they do then? I mean, it's
they would
easy
for
to cancel
sure.
This game out now.
They would for sure move it.
What happens if it was a playoff game?
They would for sure move it. And I don't know if you caught the beginning of the show when I read the three. There's three main bullet points right here. I'll put them on screen here. This is what the NFL's major reasoning was for it right here. Here are the 3 bullet points. Not playing the Buffalo-Cincinnati game, this first bullet point, to its conclusion will have no effect on which clubs qualify for the postseason. Not talking about seeding, but qualifying. No club would qualify for the postseason, and no club would be eliminated based on the outcome of this game. Then the second bullet point, and this is me not defending the NFL at all, I'm giving you the reasoning. It would require postponing the start of the playoffs for 1 week, thereby affecting 14 teams that qualify for the postseason play. And then the third bullet point, which is the most important, I think, is making the decision prior to Week 18 is consistent with our competitive principles and enables all clubs to know the playoff possibilities prior to playing the final week of regular season games. So this is from the NFL. And so for the most part, what it's saying is that if there were, what you're saying, Ron, if it happened in the playoffs, there's so many more ramifications and implications to that. In this specific instance, it's seeding, which it does that, but nobody's affected making the playoffs, not making the playoffs, and these teams, to the fairness of it, if they're going to wait and see and try and figure it out, these teams need to go into this week knowing what's at stake. And so I understand it from an NFL perspective, but I will say that part of me feels like, and I know this is going to come off very insensitive, and I don't mean it to, but part of me feels like this should have been replayed the next day or the day after that. And I don't know if the players wanted to, and that's fine. I'm just saying that's when the NFL should have potentially looked at maybe replaying the game. I don't know that they would have wanted to. I think that now that they know that Hamlin's heading in a positive direction, the NFL, if they had that information, I think the day after maybe they would have pushed for it. But it's a tough spot to be in for the NFL. It's a tough spot to be in for an analyst like me or anybody talking about NFL news and breaking this down, because it's a sensitive topic and people get really upset. But from a football perspective, like I feel like they don't care. They don't care about fantasy. They should care about the ramifications that go into this though, because, and I'm sure they're aware of it, but there is so much tied to this game. Like there's a betting world. There's so much involved and tied to it that helps prop up the NFL. So fantasy people are important. I can't stand when people say that fantasy doesn't matter and that fantasy's ridiculous right now. No, why would you even talk about it? That I don't really appreciate when people say that my job doesn't matter. Like I do feel like it matters. And as every caller that called in, they're like, this is a gateway for me. This is a way that's like, I don't know if you heard J Mac. J Mac said he'd struggled with some homelessness and some different things that had happened to him this year, and this show kept him afloat. And it's like, so I do take very big pride in providing a platform and place for people to come and talk about things they're passionate about and talk about football. And I can be sensitive to the topic at the same time. I can do both at the same time. I'm capable enough of a human being to throw nothing but prayers, positivity, even cover it from for 2 shows in a row without touching fantasy. I feel like we've done that in a very good way. And I do think there's nothing wrong with continuing to talk about both. And so, circling back to the NFL, I think the NFL was just scared to go near it, but they should have probably tried to figure out how to play that game as fast as possible instead of waiting to a point where you're now looking at Friday, tomorrow. There's no way they can squeeze it in. There's too short a turnaround for them. They got to play week 18. I just think the NFL should have done something a little bit quicker on terms of trying to replay it. I just don't know. Maybe the players wouldn't have played. And I can understand that.
Well, yeah, I get that, and I heard a comment on one of the big channels. The game between the Bills and the Bengals shouldn't be maybe face each other. It would be too hard for them to face each other or whatever. But they're good enough to, we know what the Mars situation is now. But if those players are okay enough to play this weekend's games, week 18 games, doesn't matter what team you're playing or what you're doing, you're good enough to play. You're good enough to play the game. If you're not good enough to play the game, then they've all had their little conferences and they've all talked it out and they've done all that already. So if you're good enough to play a game, doesn't matter who the opponent is, you're good enough to play the game. And so the NFL should take this. I mean, this is all my opinion, okay? I mean, I know opinions vary, but I feel like the NFL has a lot of room to reschedule this game and make it right on all fronts.
Yeah.
Play the game, and because, I mean, look, even the NFL Network, which is part of the NFL, right? I mean, they have their big fantasy shows. Everybody's promoting the big fantasy shows. But when it comes down to it, I think they're showing a very negative toward the fantasy community.
Yeah, I don't like
by
that.
Just saying, "Oh, I'm going to cancel it." I think they're
dismissing.
They're really.
Yeah, I like. Let me say this very, very clearly, because I don't want anybody to misinterpret what I'm saying. But I'm an opinionated person, and I do go to bat for my people, and this is my job. This is my job. Like, I'm fortunate enough to have a silly job, like in the sense that I get to come on and talk about football and do fantasy football content and all that. But it is my job. It is my profession. It's my chosen profession, and we've created this amazing community together. You guys have helped me together. I work for you. I don't just say that. I work for you. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. But I take great offense when people say things like fantasy's ridiculous. It doesn't matter. It's nonsense. It does matter. It does matter. And that's not to say that one individual isn't worthy of us stopping and maybe halting our conversation like we did very respectfully, and we continue to. But it does. People saying your fantasy league doesn't matter. You shouldn't be asking about your prize money or talking about your league. Why? Why can't you discuss that? Why can't you do both at the same time? I don't understand why someone's life has to shut down and they can't still be 1,000% supportive of this situation. Like, I just think people are scared to sit there and say, oh, prayers up, and they feel that way genuinely, every single person in here. But maybe like when we had that live stream with 1,500 people in, when we first broke the news on Hamlin, we had 1,500 people in the live stream at one moment. We had a bunch of trolls in here. But in our normal community right now, with the 300 people that are in here, not one person is disrespectful of Damar Hamlin, and we'll remove you if you are. So that goes to show how important. Hold on one second, Ron. That goes to show how important Damar Hamlin is to all of us, and how important his situation is to all of us. I want everyone to know that and not take out of context what I'm saying. But at the same time, I still don't appreciate when someone tells me my job doesn't matter, that what I'm doing is ridiculous. It has no bearing on life, and it shouldn't be talked about, and fantasy secondary to everything right now. Why? Why is fantasy secondary to everything right now? Why can't we do both at the same time? Why can't I go to work the next day? I had people tell me you shouldn't even go live, Smitty, out of respect. I shouldn't do my job? I shouldn't come out here and report on the NFL and do things for guys like J Mac, who's been homeless and struggling with all kinds of things. He calls in and tells me this show keeps him afloat. I hate when people say fantasy doesn't matter. And I think the NFL knows that it matters. I think you're right, Ron. We're secondary to them, and I understand that. And nor do I think a coach should call a play based on fantasy. I'm not an idiot when it comes to that. And Ron, I'm not saying you're suggesting this of me. I'm just saying in general, when people say the coach doesn't care about your fantasy, Smitty, I get that. I'm not asking the coach to do a workload divide based on my fantasy football. I can be mad about a running back by committee, but I'm not expecting a coach to actually coach based on fantasy. However, we are the people that watch fantasy. We are, and the people that play underdog fantasy, promo code Smitty. Everybody that does this helps keep the NFL popular and vaulted up. And so, I just don't like when people disrespect and act like the community of fantasy does not matter. We do. We're the reason why jersey sales are up more. We're the reason why people want to even go to the game half the time. People that watch the game are also playing fantasy. They're not separate, compartmental. You got the fans and you got fantasy. It's now all encompassing. And if you said fantasy could not be played anymore, I'm making it illegal across the country to play fantasy football. Do you know how quick the NFL population, the viewership would shrink to probably 1/3? And so this defense has nothing to. I have nothing but respect and good thoughts and prayers toward the situation at hand. I can also defend my people who are in here being ridiculed right now by people that say you shouldn't even be talking about it.
Well, keep in mind, the majority of the NFL players themselves play fantasy football. The majority of them play fantasy football in some leagues. I mean, they're playing amongst each other. They're playing fantasy football themselves. And what's really isn't it funny that one of the first things that Damar wrote down, one of his first questions was, "Did we win?"
Right.
And you think that if anybody asked him, "Hey, do you think that if they were to pose the question to him, should that game be made up?" You think that he would not say no?
Yeah, he would have said resume play during no one was going to, but that's just to show what your point is that the game is that important to him. The game is that important to him, and this is why you see players sometimes when someone's father dies or something, they go out that day. They don't cancel the game. They go out that day and play for them. And so there's a lot of different.
Brett Favre.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways people handle, mourning or these situations, and I don't think any way's wrong. If your way is to not play the game or cancel the game, like the players said for this particular moment, we don't want to play. That was awesome, and I totally commend the players, because I bet you the NFL, we've heard whispers that the NFL tried to get them to play the game. There's a 5-minute warning for warming up, and the players said, "We're not playing. Locked arm, we're not playing." Good for them. Absolutely amazing. Like, I support that decision at that moment on the field because they weren't in it. They were going to get hurt going out there and taking a hit, thinking about what's going on. No one wanted to go out and clobber somebody on the field after they'd seen that happen. But I think there probably was, like you said, Ron, where there's a moment where they wanted to go out there and continue the game and finish it the next day, the day after, or whatever. And, I'm sure they didn't care either way. But everybody's so worried about talking about it, I think that's why it didn't happen.
Well, I heard as far as them doing the 5-minute thing that the refs were just following normal protocol, and they've never been faced with that type of situation before. So it was just automatic for them to do the protocol but everything had to change after that because of the seriousness of the situation. Obviously, but that was the NFL trying to force them to play. I think that was just the refs following the normal protocol, which wasn't a normal situation. Mm-hmm. So, I think it was. Yeah,
but I did hear whispers that the NFL, and I don't know how much of it's true, but the NFL did want them to play, and the players were like, no. And that was cool. That was awesome. But again, I think that, we can talk about, like, a lot of the people that said fantasy was ridiculous and fantasy was meaningless and we shouldn't, and this is coming from a lot of the fantasy, shows out there and stuff. And it's like the next day they were back at it, like there's, I don't know.
I think a good fix to this, going forward that the NFL should really consider is go back to a 17-week season and keep the Week 18 open just in case anything happens during the regular season. You have that week open after Week 17 to make up any games that need to be made up. That way it's already put in place. It's already we have the time there.
I agree with you that could work, but they had that opportunity still to move the play because of the Pro Bowl that week in between the championship games and the Super Bowl. They have that in place already. And because the playoffs are not really set in stone because of seeding and home field advantage, and there's really not there's some ramifications. I'm sure there's some loose scheduling, like placeholders type stuff that's locked into place for arenas and stadiums and such. If this happens, that happens. We need to have these availabilities and these calculations of whatever. But they had the ability to move the playoffs, and they didn't. Again, it would affect all 14 of the other teams, as this bullet point number 3 alludes to, that it would require postponing the start of the playoffs, this middle bullet point here, for 1 week, thereby affecting 14 clubs that qualify for the playoffs. So basically them saying not continuing this game does not affect anybody making the playoffs. Anybody not making the playoffs doesn't affect anybody other than if they, there's some seeding implications or whatever, sure. But they wanted to make sure everybody knew what was what going into the wild card weekend or going into the Week 18 so they know what to play for. I agree with you in sense.
The seedings are very important.
You know what you could also do is, I don't know. Never mind. I'm not going to even go there. I think basically the NFL did the right thing in some sense and did not try to resolve it quick enough in order to do it the right way. Like right now, their hands are kind of tied other than to move the playoffs back 1 week, which I think is doable. Doesn't really affect anybody. They're saying it affects 14 teams, but does it really? You're moving everything back and everybody's going to be sitting like a bye week. But I'll tell you what, players probably could use a bye week. I think the entire National Football League would at once say, you give me a week off to rest my body, please. So I don't know that if I feel like that's actually that true, that they haven't they haven't tried to fix a solution, fix the situation. Because I think moving the playoffs just back a week is fine. But I don't know. Anyway, it's over at this point, Ron. The question is, there are going to be people saying, what do I do? I was down by 5 and I had 4 players going and he had none. Do I win? The answer is no. As of right now, no. Not unless you decided to split the pot like I advised last night and the night before. Even if you were up. Remember I told that guy last night, he's like, Smitty, I was projected to win by 80 or 90 points. I don't know if you were here, Ron, for that. But he said I was projected to win by 80 or 90 points. I go, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're down, bro. You're down. He's like, yeah, but if they resume the game. And I said, well, what if they don't resume the game? Like, take 60% of the winnings if you were projected to win by 80 or 90. Take 60%. Give him 40. He'll do it. And now, look, he's going to get 100%. And it sucks, and I'm not, like, excited for it.
The anger's still there. Imagine if you were like let's say you were in BB3, you were in the finals, or I'm in the Puppy 2. Let's say I was 5 points. I had 3 players. I had Higgins, I had Burrow, and I had Knox. And I was 5 points behind taking the lead for the $200,000. Or if I was like 5 points behind to win the $2 million in the best ball 3, right? And all of a sudden, now they're not even gonna reschedule the game to be played. I lose out on all that money. I'm mad.
Yeah,
I'm human.
But you're mad at
human,
the.
so
You gotta be. Yeah, you got.
$100 here.
Yeah, you got to be mad at the NFL, though not necessarily the best ball sites or the league management platforms, because they're literally, in my opinion, doing the right thing by saying, look. Like, and this is what they're going to tell you. Guaranteed you're going to see verbiage out because they don't want the blame. They're going to say this. They're going to go, it's on the commissioner's discretion to adjust points however they see fit if they feel like there's something that needs to be done. But we're telling you that no week 17 happens, so no points will be awarded. Bye-bye. Good luck, commissioners. Fend for yourself. And that's unfortunate because commissioners are then left going, now I still have a little wiggle room to do something, and people are going to want me to do something. But I'm giving you my honest feedback. The game ended. Whether it was canceled or they played it all the way through. The game ended. It was canceled. It's almost like you were to pull the player out after the first quarter because they're up by so much. It's the way it is.
Count the game as it ended, 7-3. Cincinnati wins. Cincinnati gets the win. Buffalo takes the loss. That's the easy one. Cincinnati was winning when the game got stopped. Cincinnati should get the win.
Well, that gets complicated. That gets complicated though, Ron, because I understand what you're saying, but that gets complicated because at that time Joe Burrow walked into the locker room and he told them we don't want to play anymore, is what I'm hearing. And so they're like, that's really kind of you. Like, okay, we don't want to play anymore either. And then what? They just win. I think it gets complicated when you don't have when you have one team or both teams wanting to play, not wanting to play. If the team had known that, I'm not saying they would have played. They probably would have forfeited the game for their player and their soldier, their brother. Like, they would have forfeited the game for them. They didn't want to play. But I'm just saying, like, it would be awfully, I think, unfair to be like when the Bengals were initiating, potentially is what we heard, we don't want to play, that they were to get the win. I don't think you could do that. But I understand what you're saying. In a big picture.
It's also unfair to the Bengals that Baltimore, they got to play their game. They lost their game to the Steelers, right? And so Cincinnati has a chance to take the AFC North division, and now that doesn't happen. So let's say Baltimore wins this week and Cincinnati loses this week. Baltimore wins the division, whereas if that game gets played, that has major impact on what seed and where they play. So Cincinnati could now have to go on the road to play in a playoff game, whereas before, if they're division winner, they're playing at home.
Well,
That's not fair to them.
I think the good news is
else.
I think the good news, though, from just outside perspective, just my thinking is that because it wasn't the last week of football, if this was week 18, they would 100% postpone the playoffs, push everything out, and play the one more game, guaranteed. But because things still have to happen in order for, like, let's say the Bengals to not win the division, that they still have total control over the scenario. Is it unfair that they could have locked it in? Absolutely. But at the same time, the Bengals could have lost the game, Ron. You know what I mean? So, like, in one sense, I get what you're saying, but the other sense, I say, because Week 18 is still there, and because there's no implications yet because of the game not being played, there's still destinies left into everybody's hands in a way. So I get what you're saying, but
we could debate this or whatever. Go to your other callers, Smitty. I'm taking up so much time.
no,
Just
you
go
can.
to the other callers.
Why don't you hang tight? Just hang right there. Caller 678, you're live.
Ready?
Yeah, what's up, man? Sorry about the wait.
No, you good. So I have this dilemma. So I was up by 11, and I had Jamar Chase, and he had Josh Allen. So he said we can split the money. It's like a $400 league. It's with my cousin, and he said we could split the money 250 to 150, or we could just count Week 18. And I think that's kind of bullshit. Or we could add the points from Week 18 to Week 17, but I don't know.
He's gone. Very, very simple. Very simple. Watch your curse words and demonetize my video. That's all I ask. And just one person after another just cannot. And it can't take simple instructions. 615, you're up. You're live.
Hey, Smitty, what's going on?
What's up? Please don't ban yourself.
I just want to first. Yeah, I got you, man. I want to first off, we all commend you and appreciate you for the advice. And the real community supports you.
Thank
we
you,
all
man.
know you treated the situation with respect, and you're really sensitive about it. So you just got to stay away from all the troll comments, man. They ain't real fans of yours.
Appreciate you, man. What can I do for you?
Quick
What
one here
was
for
your?
you, so I don't take up too much of your time.
Yeah, what was your name again?
Oh, this is River.
River. Okay, River. Add you in here. What can I do for you, River?
Yeah, just a quick one real quick. There's a pretty good chance that these two teams play in the playoffs. I think some of these home leagues could probably wait. They don't want to split the pot right away and maybe wait, see if they meet in the playoffs and add the points from that game there.
They could, but that requires some you're almost like I hate saying it because I know people that are down right now that have negative or they're down by 1 point, 2 points, 5 points that have players playing. I know they want me to come out and say, here's what you should be doing. You should be getting points somehow to win this game. But the bottom line for me is the Week 17 game is done. If they were replaying it, I'm 100% on board for adding it back in. But because the game is canceled, it's done. It's done. I wish I could come out and say I feel like you should get points, but because I'm in the same boat. I have Joe Burrow, and I'm down by X number of points. I feel like Burrow would have did it. But, I can't go go finding some other point somewhere that has nothing to do with Week 17 and try and drag it into Week 18. From a logical perspective, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Let me go find these points. Now, if you both agree to it, then do it. If I'm you said he's willing to split the pot? Or no?
I'm not. I'm pretty sure my league, the dude won it outright. The other team was done, and he was still up, and he had people on the Bengals. But other than that, I was just saying for all these people calling in for you, I was like, maybe they'll meet up in the playoffs. You can hold off until then. But I see what you're saying. It's a completely different game. It'd be a completely different scenario at that point.
Yeah. And more so, people could say use Week 18 stats. You could do that. But then again, what if, I don't know. I just don't, I don't, as bad as it is as an outcome, I don't think you could or should be digging into different weeks to get the points. But you know what? It's all on the two people involved. Let's say you got Higgins and Bob's got Chase, and it's or you're down by 1, but both of you don't want to split the prize money. And the commissioner's like, I'm not giving it to the guy who's up because it feels unfair. You guys work out a solution. And if you're forced to come up with a solution, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and win the money, right? So if someone says, hey, Smitty, I know, let's go ahead and run this back. Even though you're up and I'm down, let's run it back. And I can't get the money from the commissioner. And he's like, come up with a solution that's fair. then you say let's play in week 18 those players only, then I'll do it. I'll do it and I'll try it. But I don't think I'm going to push for it, make a big stink out of I should get points somewhere. Somebody give me points for Burrow. Somebody give me points for Higgins. Week 17 was called. It was canceled. It's not being replayed. The NFL said it's not being replayed for all the reasons that I read here. And so at this point, you either, like I've said for 2 days straight, split the money while the person's willing to do it. If you're down, I don't care if you're supposed to win. If you're down, split the money or the person's going to change their mind as things start to settle. The dust settles and they're not so sensitive anymore to the topic because we're human beings and human beings are not going to remain in this sensitivity situation for very long. They're going to move on with their lives. They're going to step out of bounds of that and they're going to be like, you know what? I actually won. I'm going to take all the money. So it's either you split it while you still can, if you still can at all, or you're probably going to lose the week, unfortunately. And it sucks, man. It's not fun at all. I have Burrow. I'm feeling really bummed about it.
Yeah, the reason I said maybe wait till the playoffs because week 18 doesn't seem right to me because
appreciate you, Vamp.
I mean, they're going to be playing completely different teams and everything, so.
Yeah. All right, bro. Appreciate you. Later, River.
All right, buddy. Take it
Call
easy.
back anytime. Next caller is area code 619. Who am I talking to?
Yo.
Who's this?
Isaiah.
Isaiah, what's up? Don't drop bombs.
I'm still in a championship game for week 18.
Yeah.
And I'm in a little dilemma. I don't know who to bench and who to start.
All right. Hit me with it.
So for quarterback, I'm locked in with Purdy. And then for my receivers, I got St. Brown, and I got Cooper, Michael Pittman, K-Walk, James Conner, Evan Ingram, Tyler Boyd, and on my bench, we got Shark, White from the running back from the Bucks, Latavius Murray. I got Minshew just in case Hurts don't play because my opponent actually has Hurts, so I don't want him picking him up. So
I got you.
Just pick them up just in case. And then I got Marvin Jones Jr. and Romeo Dobbs. I only picked them up because of the matchups. And then the defense and kicker. I don't really think that matters. I got the Detroit kicker and the Chargers defense, but I'm mainly concerned with the receivers, with the Pittman Jr. and I don't really know what to do with him.
So what's the question, bro? Simplify it for me. I'm sorry, my attention span's about this big.
That's my bad. I don't.
Yeah.
Who do you feel like is the best possible players I should start?
I mean,
because I'm thinking about Pittman benching because he hasn't really been doing all that. You know what I mean? I don't know if I should play him or start him.
I'd probably go Chark or Rashad White over. No. Yeah, I'd probably go Chark or Rashad White over Pittman if you can maneuver that. If it has to be a wide receiver, then I guess I'd go Chark.
Yeah, that's what I had before. It's I got 3 receivers and the flex. So right now I got in the receivers it's Brown, Cooper, Pittman, and the flex is Boyd. So I could maneuver it, like how you just said, and get them up in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that you have much wiggle room. I suppose yeah, Pittman's the only one I'm worried about. I suppose I go Chark. I guess that's it. That's the only thing I move. Boyd's interesting, but Boyd over Pittman's interesting. I mean, he did score.
Yeah. So you wouldn't even consider Dobbs or Marvin Jones at all?
No, probably not. I mean, this is why I hate Week 18, man. You shouldn't play it. You don't know. You have no idea.
I know.
We don't know if Dalvin Cook's gonna play much or Justin Jefferson. You got Barkley probably sitting, Danny Dimes probably sitting, Fields is sitting. Then you got Henry coming back, which is so weird because this extra game has caused, I personally think everybody should have not rushed into playing week 17. But then again, you get the bye weeks in week 14, so I get it. I don't know. It's tough, bro. It's tough. Part of me wonders if someone's going to cook up a different scenario of, like, even if bye weeks are in week 14, that it's like a 2-round playoff or something like that. I don't know. Week 15 and 16. Do I know what?
He's good defense.
You what?
He's good with his defense. He's got his hometown defense there, so they're playing. The defense has got to play.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. I'm not sure.
I know that you're in San Diego area, aren't you, Isaiah?
Yes, sir, I am. I'm from San Diego.
Yeah.
I'm from Imperial Beach. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, Isaiah, I don't know, bro. Chark or Pittman or Boyd, I don't know, bro. I'd probably go Chark.
Chark over Pittman.
Yep.
For sure.
All right,
I
bro.
just want to tell you thank you and keep up with what you're doing, bro.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate you. Later.
For sure, bro. You take care.
Charles, you're up. You're live.
What's up, Smitty? How are you doing?
I'm good, bro.
Hey, man, just don't let all these trolls affect you. You know, you're doing your job.
They don't.
You're doing what you love and everything. So don't let them affect you. You know, just move on to your, the next day. You know, you're doing a good job out there on the fantasy thing. So,
thanks.
But I do have a question to ask you. I'm in one of those leagues that go into week 18, and I have Josh Allen, but I was watching the press conference with Allen, and I don't think he's all there just by how his reaction and his state of mind. So would you either pick up Goff or Stedman, Las Vegas, or would you play Allen?
Goff or Ritter?
Stedman, the guy from Vegas.
Stidham.
Yeah,
I would go Goff, man. I feel like Goff is gonna rip it, right, Ron?
Yeah, Goff should rip it, but I mean, heck, you don't know if Allen could have one of the biggest games. His boy's okay now. Maybe DeMar writes out to the team, "Hey, win this."
I'm not sitting Allen.
Motivated.
I'm not sitting Allen. If he's asking of sitting Allen, no, you don't sit Allen. But if is this a secondary question, or are you actually going to sit Josh Allen for one of these guys?
Well, I wasn't sure. I was
okay.
Just watching him at the press conference today, it just seems like he's got that not PTSD, but he's got that mental.
No, bro. If
mental illness.
Yeah, if you got to start Josh Allen. Like, these guys are like I'm sure it'll affect him, but it could affect him in good ways too. You might go out there and just be motivated. Yeah. But if you're talking about starting one of those guys over Josh Allen, heck no, bro. But if I had to pick between those two guys as like a super flex or a backup plan if something goes awry, I go Goff. But
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, he could go. If he lost his dad, he went out and had probably the biggest, best game of his life. And he was under all that trauma from losing his dad. So you just never know how these players are going to react.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah, start your studs, bro.
All right.
Unless you hear your stud is out, like Barkley's going to sit or Fields is sitting, like obviously. But when you have no clear indication as to when or how much the player is going to sit, you got to roll with them, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, Smitty, I appreciate it.
Yep. Keep tabs on that situation, though, if it changes later. All right, Ron, I think I'm out of here. Anything else you want to add?
No, I pretty much said enough, I think.
All right, Ron, appreciate you, man.
Sometimes you can't shut me up for nothing.
Yeah, all right. Last time I did this, caller went nuts. One more call. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. Who is this? And don't drop any bombs or you're out of here. Who is this?
This is Bark.
Bark?
Yes.
Bark. What's up, Bark?
Mark.
Oh, Mark.
Hey, how's it going?
Can I call you Bark? I like
For
Bark.
all you players out there, it's tough that the league had to go in this type of situation to end the game this way. It's kind of saddening, really. But all the fantasy football players out there and, all the love for the game, we just really wish them all the best.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Mark.
Yeah.
You win a title?
Yeah, I did.
Attaboy.
Feels like it wasn't the right way, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you got it. You'll take it in next year and double down, show people you deserved it anyway.
I got to. I love it.
2023
and
content.
I got to thank you, Smitty. You made me make some tough calls when I played the game. A couple running backs, and then so I won with Cooper Kupp going down, and I also had Brees Hall. He went down too. And
excellent job.
Also my end. So I had to play the waivers right, and fortunately I took it to the final. But I feel like I won, but it's not the right way that I wanted to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, congrats, my guy. Congrats, man. All right.
Thanks, my guy.
Yeah, call back anytime, Mark. Get ready for 2023. Later.
Nice to hear you, Smitty.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
All right, Ron. Appreciate you, man.
Yep. Have a good one.
Later, pal. All right, phone lines are concluded. This super chat here, I think I told my two finalists. Oh, I think I already got to this one. Thank you for your super chat, by the way, Damon. To the moon for that $10
To the moon.
holler, my man, my main man. Then we got Vampy saying $10 holler from Vampy. Vampy still here?
To the moon.
Appreciate you, Vamp. Vamp dropped a $10 holler that said, Smitty, how do I get modded in here? I think then Vamp followed that up by saying he was a little toasty right now. He's sipping back on Grandpa's old cough medicine, so we'll wait on that one, Vamp. Was down 10, bro, and had Josh Allen left. We ended up splitting, but I'm salty still. Was down 10, bro, and had Josh Allen left. Bro, you should be counting your lucky dollars that you split the pot because you lost, Alonzo. You actually lost. You were down 10 and you got half the money. And according to the NFL, the game's canceled. You lost. So I wouldn't be salty at all. I'd feel very grateful that you got half the money. A lot of people didn't split it, and then now they're out because they felt like they should have won. Feeling like you shouldn't have won and winning are two different things. Thoughts, I was up 48 and had Mixon left. Opponent had McPherson and Davis. I think that you won. According to the NFL, you were up. The game's canceled, not being replayed, and he didn't have a shot anyway. You won. I mean, that's it. You can tell your commissioner to call me, and I'll tell him that you won if he needs confirmation. Or you can send him this clip. And for those that don't know, we added another Moon Man today. We've got two Moon Men, ladies and gentlemen.
The Moon Men. Dropping loads in outer space.
Congratulations to Garrett Wilson.
Space Moon says.
Bijan Robinson's Moon Man number 1. Garrett Wilson has been added to the Moon Men list. Garrett Wilson is exiting the atmosphere as we speak. He will arrive on the moon shortly. And there's talk about both of these gentlemen being on the shuttle to Mars. So hang tight on that. But Moon Men are in full effect. We've got a $20 hauler from Ramon. What a monster. One of my Chip, thanks for all the help and advice throughout the season. I'll tell you what.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Appreciate you, my dude, Ramon. You are the man, the myth, the legend. $20 hauler for Ramon. From Ramon. Where is this? There we go. Ramon. Thank you, Ramon. I was going to go live again tonight, but I think I'm pretty worn out today. I think this kind of constitutes our second live stream, to be honest with you. So we'll be back tomorrow for the 7 p.m. show, but I should have content, I hope, drop in between before tomorrow's 7 p.m. show. Tomorrow's Friday. So we'll be back for the 7 p.m. show and more. So get ready, buckle up. This is the night show. It's almost like 11 p.m. Eastern anyway. Thank you all for filing in. Please, if you are just joining us, the Bills and Bengals game was canceled officially. Week 17, Bills-Bengals will not happen. No points will be accrued further, and your league management platform will probably be telling you what they are essentially deeming the winners and divvying it out, and probably going to give you commissioners access to do whatever you want, like they would. I mean, you're the commissioner. You can change anything you want, but I don't think they want any part of creating a mess. And the bottom line is, it's almost as if like Burrow and Diggs and Josh Allen and Mixon and all these players just got removed from the game and didn't play the second, third, and fourth quarter. Is how you kind of almost have to look to it. Moon Men list one more time, and then we're out of here. Appreciate you all.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
Space Monsters.
And let's put a little 2023 on here. A little 2023 Moon Man action. Let me move this up here. Hold on. There we go. Let's change that color right here to a nice little. Let's do a nice little red. A little 2023. So we'll move the rocket over slightly. Make that right there. Let's run that back one more time for good measure. I give you the 2023 Moon Men.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
Space Monsters.
Space Monsters, indeed. I can't think of a more exciting thing than seeing a Moon Men list. Maybe the Mars Men will be near. We're going to do the planet Uranus list.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
So we'll have actual names on the planet Uranus list, players to avoid. Appreciate you all. I will see you all tomorrow, probably before the 7 p.m. show. Thank you all. I work for you.
Kenneth Skywalker. Kenneth Lightsaber Swinging Skywalker.